All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. Actually, you should be able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So today we're gonna start with let me cut off my jams. So we're gonna start off with file input output. That's essentially what we're gonna cover today. Well, before we hop into it, what do we know about file input and output?
That's not that's not the same as what we've been doing with the scanner and all that.
I mean, we're gonna use the scanner, so you're kind of right. Anybody want to add to Lamont's theory there? File input output.
That's exactly what it is. You're going to use a file to either read or write.
There we go. Simple as that. So up until now, for the most part, all of our data that we've been capturing from the user has been only held within that session, right? Like if we're collecting data from the user, as soon as we stop the application and we start the application right back up, then all the data that we had previously is not there again. I don't know if I used this analogy with this class, but I used it before. So my analogy with the way our application works right now is like an old Nintendo, right? You don't want to cut that bad boy off or hit reset because you're gonna lose all your data. So we've been working without memory cards on our application, and now with the file input output, it gives us a way to contain our data so that we don't lose the session. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Did I get y'all with that Nintendo reference? Okay, we got it. Okay. Y'all seem about
right
around my realm of age. At least.
No, you old.
Okay. So yeah, first we're gonna talk about creating text files within our application, and we're gonna get into how do we read from that text file, the data, and then how do we write to that text file. Lee, is there any particular thing you want to kick us off, or is there anything specific you wanted to?
Man, he's eating. He don't want to kick nothing off. He wants you to go
over there sipping out a teddy bear mug.
Yeah, he got busted. He cold busted.
Good.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it off then. All right. So what we need to do, let's go ahead and create a new console application project. Let's go ahead and name this. I named mine. I think I named it. Yeah, file input output practice. Go ahead and take this out of here. All right, somebody give me a confirmation when you all set. And then we can continue.
All right, I'm all set.
Yep. I'm ready.
All right, cool. Lee's ready too. All right, here we go. So the first thing we want to do, you should have, your console application open here. Should look very similar to this. The first thing we want to do is we want to create a text file so that we can actually have something to read from or write to. And since the first thing that we're going to do is read from the text file, we're going to create a text file so that it's contained in our application. And then that way we're going to put some data in there and then we're just going to read from it. So according to the document, the first thing we're going to create is we're going to create a text file and we're going to call it students.txt. So we're going to have something that's going to hold a list of students. So where I'm going to place this at is I'm going to place this, if you look at my folder structure over here, under the source. So you have that source folder right there. I'm going to go ahead and right click on that source folder. And then I'm going to click new. And I'm just going to go here to where it says file. So right click on source, go to new, go to file, click that file. It gives us the option to add a new file with whatever extension we want it to have. And again, we're just going to type in students.txt. And once you have this, if you go ahead and press enter, it should open up a new student text file for you. We good? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and press enter. There we go. So we got a student text file right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of us on here. Hey Lee, you on Slack? Can you drop Tiberius the Zoom link? All right, so in here, let's put a couple people, whoever you want. I'm gonna put Bob, Joanne, and then Kwame, just to be diverse. All right, there we go. Bob, Joanne, and Kwame's in my student.txt file. So everybody got a text file with at least 3 people in there.
Yes.
All right, cool. So then now we can go ahead, we're gonna go ahead and navigate back to our main class. So if you look up here at the top, you should have your student.txt and your main. You click that, it takes you back, and then we're over here. All right. So back to the document. So we're gonna work in tandem. The way it's gonna work is we're gonna do some things together with the student text file, and then you guys are gonna do it on your own with the groceries text file. So since we've already created a student text file, I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes to go ahead and create one for groceries.
Okay.
Remember that it needs the extension .txt to know that it's a text file. That's important. And once you have that created, go ahead and throw a couple groceries on there. Let me see, I know I need some barbecue sauce. What else is on my list? Oh, I need some ranch. And probably some bread. There we go. If y'all have any of these items and y'all want to send them my way, I will take donations.
So do we create are we creating a new file in main or just put this information in main? Grocery list.
Nope. So you should, if you're looking at so we're following right along with the document here.
Okay.
So for exercise 1, it says on your own, create a new text file named groceries.txt.
It's a new text file. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Lee, did you drop that link for Ty?
Yeah, I just dropped it.
Okay. All right, everybody good? We good to continue?
Are we supposed to create it under source again, or?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
they should all could go in this. Yep, in the same spot. So yep, right under source again. All right. So for exercise 2, we're essentially going to follow this line by line, the way it's written here, but we'll do it together just so that we are all on the same page. And as we walk through it, I'll talk it out what we need to do exactly. So the first thing it says to do is that we need to create a string variable that holds the file path. So based on just that alone, where do we need to start? We're looking at this right here. So based on that alone, where do we need to start?
String file name equals.
Okay, I dig it. Let's call it path though. So we'll call it string path equals, and we know this is going to be a string, so this is our setup. All right, so now we want to, the path is the location in which the text file exists in our application. So we need to put that path inside of here so that it can be held in the variable. So the way to get, we're going to start with our student file. So we're going to, if you right click on it, you'll notice up there, if you right click on it, the fourth option down, it goes new, cut, copy, and then copy path. Copy path gives us our path. That's what we want. So we're going to go ahead and click on copy path. Then it gives you options. Do you want the absolute path? Do you want path from the content root? Or do you want path from the source root? Let's go ahead and go with option number 2. So for content root. So we'll click that, and then I'll go ahead and paste it here. And it should give you a path that looks very similar to that.
Man, he didn't get that.
I didn't, but I just dropped it. All right, so now that we have our path, let's go back to our document. All right, so number 2, it says, create a file object that takes an object path variable as a parameter. So that one, let me adjust this so I can see. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to get my screen together over here. Okay, there we go.
You want to show it to us?
Yeah. We're gonna do it together. I just wanted to get my notes together so that I'm on task. All right, so creating a file object, we're gonna start with the class name file. So since it's a class, it starts with the capital F, and you'll notice that the IntelliSense or predictor or whatever it's called here gives us file right here, and we're gonna go ahead and click that. Now, file is a class that gives us a bunch of functionality around what it says, files. So we're gonna create a file object, and let's call this one, we'll call this one my the student's file, right? Because now we're creating an object called student's file, which equals new file, and then in here we can pass our path. So what's happening here is we're creating this new object called students file based on the file class. And what it does is it takes the path and it uses that path or the location to actually create a file object inside of our application. So now we have this file object that we can work with inside of our application.
So I'm sorry if I missed something, but is there a reason we couldn't just toss the string inside the parens for where it says new file instead of path? Could we just have source groceries.txt? Do we just do it this way because it's cleaner, or is there more to it than that?
It's a great question. No, you could just pass the literal path in there, but as you'll see that we'll probably use that path multiple times throughout us programming.
Sure.
In this and right now. So yeah, it's just cleaner and more efficient to just be able to call that one path variable as opposed to having to type this out every time we want to use it.
Makes sense. I just wanted to check if there was anything else. Thank you.
Yeah, no, great question. Those are the questions we want.
When I type in that information file, students file equals new file, I'm getting red squiggly marks around file. And it's asking me to, I guess, to, I don't know, maybe import something, or cannot resolve symbol file import class.
Yeah, so if you need to import it, then you probably need this import right here. Do you have this at the top? The java.io.file?
No, I don't. Okay. It's gone.
Okay. Cool. Then we're all set. Yeah, you need that one to access the file object. So we all here? Everybody good? E's not good. E, what's up?
I saw it and then I went away to how was I supposed to, again, you got to realize I'm on a different platform. So how do I get my file path in there again real quick?
So yeah, if you right click on, if you find it over here.
Oh, yeah.
You right click on it and then it gives you the option to copy path.
I don't have that. So.
Oh, you don't have the option to copy path?
No, I do not.
Okay, so then you just have to literally put the path in there. So your path should be, is it in your source folder?
Yes, it is. I have file path, and then instead what I have is a dialog that says showing files. And so I can
Let me see real quick.
I can put SRC. Huh?
Go ahead and share real quick. Let me see, just to make sure.
Okay, this will be good because, okay, hold tight. Okay, hold tight. Okay, you can see what I got, right?
Not yet. Hold on. Let me plug in.
Okay.
Yeah, this is you, right? Yeah. So right click that.
Yeah, okay. Right, and then I go to showing files because I don't have.
Oh yeah, you don't have it. So that's right, fine. You just have to. So then what you?
Wait a minute, that ain't right.
No, let me show you what you need to do.
File path, and then SRC. Okay, and then it's students. I guess I can double click that. Click. Okay, and it opened it up. So it didn't give me the path.
No, so I'm gonna give you the path.
Okay, bet.
So you just gotta do it manually. So the path is, if you look at your folder structure over there.
Wait a minute. Did I lose you?
No, we see you.
Oh, you see my, okay. Okay, hold tight. All right, yep.
Okay, so you see your folder structure over there, right?
Yeah.
So you see where it starts with the SRC file, and then underneath it goes to the student.txt file?
Yeah.
That's the path right there. So you just type in src/students.txt. And that should be your path, because it matches the folder structure, the hierarchy of how it lives inside the folders. Does that make sense?
It does. And also it gives us an alternative way in the event that we do not have the same dialogue. Right. So I'm gonna give it.
Cool. Thank you.
It's found in my main folder. I thought I clicked on. I just looking at this. I thought I clicked on the source, source for students.txt, but it's looks like it's appearing under main. In that folder.
Wait, say that again.
I think I put the student file under main instead of, I thought I clicked on source, but it looks like it's in this hierarchy. It looks like it's appearing under main in that area instead of under source. I mean, does that make a difference? Okay. All right. So this is what it looks like. Should that student file be in that location, or should it be like in this area?
Collapse the com.company, collapse it.
Okay.
Yeah, so the student file is in the right one. The other one is not. So you can just drag it to that source file.
Okay.
No. Open that. Yeah, open that, expand that. Nope, not that.
This one?
Yep. Now grab grocery and then drag it to SRC.
Okay, put it up here.
Yeah, and drop it. Let it go. Yep, press OK. There, you all set.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, stop here.
All right, everybody good?
Quick question. What's the is it Java dot the imports for the what is the import output file?
Right here.
Java.io.
Java.
Yeah,
okay, IO. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So continuing on. All right. So now we have our file object so that we can work with it. So now what we need to do is we need to set up everything so that we can read through the file and get all the text that's in the file. So to start that off, we need to use a try-catch block. So why would you think we need to use a try if we're going to read from this file?
Because you will get a file not found exception.
What would cause a file not found exception?
If the path is not there or incorrect.
Correct, right? So if we don't have the correct path, or if the file doesn't actually exist, we don't want the program to crash because the file isn't there. So we need to try to get it. And if we don't get it, then we need to catch that with some exception to tell the user, hey, this file doesn't exist. Beautiful stuff, Nicole. Beautiful stuff. You actually got something from last week.
Yay!
All right.
And the homeworker challenge. We don't talk about that though. I said, and the homeworker challenge, but we are not going to talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about your homework. I was stressing last night. All right. So let's go ahead and create our try block. So we'll just set it up real quick. So this is our try, followed by our catch.
You sharing with us or what?
Oh, my bad. Yep, I will. There we go. All right. So start with our try. We have our exception, and this is just the setup. inside of our catch, we'll just say file does not exist. Oh yeah, our try doesn't need that. My bad. All right, so it should look like this. This should be our setup for right now. Now inside the try is the code we want to try. All right, so in here we want to put the code that we want to try and execute, which in this case is we want to try and read from the text file. So the first thing we need to do is we need to instantiate a new scanner, because like Lamont was alluding to, the scanner actually scans. Not only can it scan the console, but it can also scan the document. So the first thing we need to do is we need to, inside of this, we need to go ahead and instantiate a scanner. So we should already know how to do that. We should be very comfortable with instantiating a scanner, right? All right, let me put this comment right here. Everybody know how to do this? I hope so, because we're in week 5 of Java 2. We should know how to instantiate a scanner. Somebody walk me through this.
Is it scanner.do scanner? I mean scanner. Let me just
Scanner scan equals
scanner.systemin.
new. Yeah.
Scanner.system. Oh, new scanner or dot
Yeah.
system.
Okay, so the only difference is here is, so system in will give us the input from the console, but we're not trying to scan this console here. What do we want to scan?
The path or the
File for
student
the
file?
pathway.
What do we want to scan?
The
The
file?
file path.
We want to scan the file, right? We created a file. We want to scan that. So inside of the scanner, we're going to put the actual file that we want to scan, the student file. So this is going to scan that student file. Does that make sense? Everybody catching that? We got questions there?
You putting that inside the try? Or where?
Yeah, all this, yeah, this is the part where we got to try. We got to try to see if this is going to work. So yeah, this is inside the try. Notice there is my try, there's a start, and there's the end of my try. So yeah, this is all inside the try. We good? Everybody here?
Yep.
Okay. So now that we have our scanner and it's scanning the object, now we need to read each of the lines and print it out to the console, right? Because that's the only way we're going to be able to see it as the user, is we need to read from it, right? So if we're reading from a file that we don't know what's inside of it, what are we? Let me see how to best put this. What could go wrong if we're reading from a file that we don't know what's inside of it? What could go wrong?
The program can crash.
But what reason would the program crash?
Maybe
Something in the file isn't right.
Okay, maybe the file isn't right, but we're expecting this file to have text. But sometimes sometimes we create files and we don't even put nothing in them. We just got this new file and we don't put anything in there, right? So we want to make sure that there's actually lines of text inside this file to actually print to the console, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do is we need to check. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a loop, a while loop. And this loop is going to check to see if there's actually a line to be read.
So are we gonna use has next line somewhere?
Yes, we are going to use has next line. Look at you. Look at you. All right, so what are we going to call has next line on? Because that's a method. We need to call that on something. What's that?
On the file? Or
Nope.
on the scanner?
On the scan, on our scan object. So inside of here, we're going to say scan dot has next line.
Next line.
Now, Nicole, since you brought up has next line, what does has next line do? Explain to us.
I believe it reads, I should know this. It should read like any text that's like scanned by the scanner, basically. Or any next, well, isn't it any next input though? It's not just text though, right? Isn't it any?
Yeah, I mean, we're reading from a text document, so it's going to read anything. But so what has next line does, has next line is a method that returns a Boolean, which is either true or false, right? Because we're using a while statement, it needs a condition, whether it's true or false. So what it's going to do is it's going to look inside of the scanner object, and it's going to say, is there a next line, true or false? If there is a next line and it returns true, then here we want to print that line to the console. Otherwise, if it doesn't have anything in there, then we don't want to print it to the console. So how do we print this line to the console?
Would it be south?
Okay, we got a cell.
Print the line. Student file?
Is it student file?
Well, remember that student file, we scanned that, and all of that information is being held where?
In the scanner. Or in the text file. Oh, the scanner.
In scan.
Right. So then we need to use scan dot, and in this case, it's prompting us what we need to put, and it is the next line. All right, test it out. See if it actually works. Give it a spin. I'm gonna give mine a spin. Oh, baby. Bob, Joanne, Kwame. My peoples. So mine worked. You either got two options here. It's either you're going to get these names or you're going to get
File does not exist.
file does not exist. So if you got file does not exist, you did something wrong somewhere. We got to work with it. So who got file does not exist? Because we got to figure out what's wrong with your code.
Me?
You got that?
Yep.
All right, go ahead. Let me stop sharing. Let's see what you got.
What is wrong?
Hey, which screen does I share? Can you see my code?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. So this is student's file right here. Because I named my student. Okay. Let's try it again.
Oh no, you named your student's file. That's red. That's gonna break.
Okay. Students.text.
Oh, that's what's wrong with yours. Yeah. So that student's file is right, but your path is wrong. And then go, yeah, make that back to students. The path, yeah, right there. Yep, the student's file, yeah. Yeah, that's why the whole path.
Because I named that student. Yep.
Yeah, the path is important because if it doesn't exist, which is why we put this, a perfect example of why we needed this.
So I can be uniform.
Keep it that. No, don't rename it. Because
Okay,
you already changed it in the file path.
Okay, I was gonna make it uniform. All right.
Yes, sir. There we go.
I was like, I don't think I'm copying the path right.
What's that?
I don't think I'm copying the path right. So like, I will go to. This is weird. So I went to my student's text file.
You know you're gonna share that right?
Huh?
You know you're gonna have to share that right because you talking and I'm a visual person. I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. I'm working on 2 screens here, so let me. Okay, so I copy.
So make that that little screen bigger. Your editor is make that bigger. Yeah, there we go.
You just gotta lean in.
Right.
Like some source tab or something. So right clicks. Went to here. Grab to this one, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Where's your quote? Where's your quote at?
This isn't the right path at all, though. This is.
It is. It's the right path according to where you put it at. It's not the right path according to where I put it, but it doesn't matter where I put it. It has to be where you put it.
That ain't the right path because that's the Java. That's the main. That's the main file.
I don't.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's
That's the right path.
Yep. So you got to do your groceries or students. Which one are you trying to do?
What did you right click on to get that? Right click over in student.txt in the file explorer in the project thing over there. Yeah. Click on that one. Now go to copy path. Now go up. Click on that.
Okay. I did it up here before. I don't know why I'm having an issue.
Yeah, you need another quote though.
Yeah. Okay, let me see that.
That's it right there. I believe it. I knew it. I should have put some money down on that one.
Rena. All right, cool. Everybody else good?
The phone isn't working.
What's that?
I'm getting a red wow statement. I got this message down here, 1838. It says a similar.
Yeah, you.
But I'm trying to figure out where's the.
You got a lot of things right there.
You misspelled while.
Yeah,
that we is the issue.
Okay, maybe that's it then. Okay, right. Let's see if it works. Okay, so I guess it works. Okay, I didn't catch that. Thanks.
There we go.
Here, go back to your. Oh, never mind.
Okay, back to it.
It Control Alt L. maybe it'll like organize that better, because the way it's like set up is
Didn't you be able to drag it to the bottom? You can.
Control. Okay, so
yeah, hit
control
Control
Alt
Alt.
down.
There you go. Okay. That
Okay,
gives
all
you-
right, thanks.
That's a little more readable. All right, cool. All right, anybody else?
Yeah.
So everybody good? Cool. Does everybody understand what's going on in these lines right here?
You can explain it again, if you don't mind.
Well, I want somebody else to try to explain it, and I'll correct it.
Ooh, I like that.
You gotta read it line by line. What we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to understand it is to read it line by line and make sure you know what's up.
Or at least try to.
Okay.
Try.
I'll try.
All right, I got it up.
All right, Lamont, go ahead. Let's see what you got.
Okay, so starting from here, right, the top, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is creating a string named path, and is equal to our text file that we created.
To the text
And then-
file or to the location of the text file?
The location of the text file.
Okay, all right.
And then from here, we're creating this file called students file, and that's equal to the path, which is basically is equal to this. So these two are connected.
Okay.
And then we're connecting our try, or within our try, we're connecting it to this, which is this.
Okay, so what's happening at line 19?
At line 19, that's the scanner, which we're all familiar with. And it's called scan, and the data it's pulling is from this, the file named student file.
Correct. Yep. So just to reiterate, what's happening there is usually with our scanner, we're using the scanner to scan whatever's on the console. In this case, instead of scanning whatever on the console, we already have a file object that we created that has all the information that we wanted to have. So we just put that inside of the parentheses, and now it scans that to see what's in there. And now it holds it all in that scan object. Okay, keep going, keep going.
Okay. And of course, we got our try right here. So our try is making sure that we have this, and if we don't have it, it says file does not exist.
So what is it checking for? What's the try catch or checking for?
It's checking for our students file.
What about the students file?
It's checking to see if, basically it's checking to make sure it's anything in there, or if it exists.
If it exists, yes. It's checking
Right.
to see if that path exists. Okay, all
Okay.
right.
What does the path next line do again?
Here,
Yep, yep. So
this is basically reading, I guess this, our text, and like if there was nothing in here, like I just demonstrated a minute ago by accident, but I do it on purpose this time.
Oh, you know that's not going to comment that out, right?
Oh, it's not?
No, because
Oh.
that's not a Java file. That's just text.
Oh, okay, well.
There you go.
Now if I run it.
Yeah, so you get nothing because there's nothing in that file.
Not the file does not exist?
Say that again.
How come it's not file does not exist? It's like in the
Because
catch.
the file itself does exist,
Okay,
right? I mean, there is a file called student.txt. We see it, right?
right.
What just happened is that it will only try to print out something to the console if there's actually a line of text inside that file,
Okay.
right? Because if there wasn't a line of text in that file, when it tried to hit this, then it would give an exception and it would say there's no data, or it would give some sort of exception to say that like this isn't going to happen. So while or scanning has next line, checks to see is there a next line to actually be printed.
Okay.
I can't replicate my mistake from earlier. What did I do wrong earlier?
Well, what you did earlier was different from what that has next line does.
Right.
What you did earlier was you gave the wrong file path. And if it's the wrong file path, then it's going to hit our try. And it's going to say that this doesn't exist, and then it hit the catch.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. All right. Yep. Okay.
But here, let me show you.
Mine is still not working.
Okay, who is that?
Tiberius.
All right, here, I'll let you share real quick and then we'll
Let's see it.
All right. I think I have everything, but when I press to run it, it says it doesn't exist. But
yes, so
That's just what I was trying to redo. What did I do wrong?
It's not in the right place.
well, it's not in the right place.
Students.text.
Up top.
It's in the source.
Isn't it supposed to be under company?
no, it should be in source based on his path.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter. Here here in line 25, like in your catch.
Okay.
Add another. We're gonna add another print statement. Let's see what specific error we getting. So let's do a e dot print stack trace. Not we don't need this out.
Okay.
Do e dot.
E dot.
Nope. Up on under line 25.
Okay.
So drop down one from line 25.
Okay.
And then do e dot print stack trace. And then let's see what it got to say to us.
Okay.
It is something. It ain't like
Try to copy the path again. Like get rid of that path and then try a new path. No, so go back to main. And then get rid of that path.
Okay.
Oh.
Now right click on student.txt over there. No, on the left.
Which?
In the project.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, right click that one. Go to copy path. Go to that one. Yeah, now Control V. Yeah, I think yours is the way it's wherever it's living is different. But now if you run it, it should run.
All right. Here we go. All right.
Yeah, it was
good.
Wherever it lives at right now. It's
all right. Okay.
Now we cooking.
Beautiful.
Emery or Lee, if we wanted to in the Google search engine, search for examples or information about the procedure, what would we type in the search engine?
Nicole, can you share that link to W3 Schools that we saw you had back there?
You said, can I share?
Yeah, can you drop that link that you're looking at currently for W3 Schools?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this would be a good
Yep.
place to start, Deborah. Was somebody else gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just saying that I'm learning to use Java with Selenium, and I've been pretty much, as far as learning Java, I've been all over W3 Schools.
Yeah, W3 Schools is a good like reference point. Doesn't necessarily give you a lot of meat, but it'll get you started.
Right.
You out here learning stuff. You, Lamont, I see.
What you learning Selenium for? You doing a project or something, or you just?
Well, I'm learning how to also be like a software tester. To do QA.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
Sweet. I think Selenium is also a great web scraping tool.
Okay.
I got some projects in my back pocket that I've been thinking about doing. But anywho, but yeah, I like to hear that.
Lamont, send me your resume.
Okay.
Nah. Send me your resume.
I might have a lead for you. But anyway, sorry. Keep going. Let's keep going. I'm just trying to help people out here. I mean, you tell me you
definitely.
I might have something for you. All right. So yeah, I wanted to run through this. So if you got a chance to, well, you missed out if you didn't join us yesterday for the deep dive. We went through the debugger. And so Deborah, if you remember the debugger, in this case, what I would do with the debugger is, if you want to see what's actually happening here at the while, remember our breakpoint? I put the breakpoint right there. And then this will walk through and it'll show us. So let's see. So what is our scanner currently? Well, we wanted to tell us if it's true or not. There we go. So you see where it says match valid equals true? So it's telling us that there is a next line to be read. And if there is, then it allows us to go ahead and step through here. And then at this point, it'll write it out. And so this will keep going through each line in the text file until there is nothing else to be read. So it went through 3 times because in my text file, there were 3 things. Once it gets to after line 3, then it comes back as false and it says there's nothing else to be read. So then it goes ahead and skips past all of that and it doesn't try to print out an empty line to the console. Does that make sense, Deborah and everybody else? So that's what that has next does. Yeah, for those of you who missed the debugging, I might try to do a video and I'll drop it on YouTube. Maybe I'll try to get one done this weekend and I'll drop it on YouTube for us. All right, so let's go back to the document. Now that we've got that, let's get some practice. So we're gonna do the exact same thing. Does it tell us to do it? It doesn't yet. So we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did for the student file. We're gonna read from our groceries file.
Yes.
Okay, does that make sense? We're doing the exact same steps. Don't copy and paste these steps. Read it a different time. So let me pull it up. No, not that one. Here we go. So right after all of this, right here, read from the groceries list.
I'll drop the link. Somebody that needed it. It's in code snippets. Java code snippets.
And then Ty, if you missed it, when we first started class, we created another text file that's called groceries. So a groceries.txt file, and then we just put 3 or 4 groceries in there. and this challenge is having you read from that text file.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys 8 minutes. So we'll say 8 minutes from now is 7:38, and then we'll have somebody share their progress. And Lee, I'm about to call you.
Hey, call my Android number, 810. My other phone dead. 620. I don't remember the last four. 5427.
I'll see if I got it.
You got it. It's 810620.
Okay.
What's my last four, man?
Like 3 different numbers, dude.
And I'm gotta keep the feds off me.
Hey, H, where's the music?
Hey, I got it. So I had to talk to Lee real quick, but yeah, let me throw something together real quick. We got requests.
Erica Badu.
Ooh.
Oh, I was feeling Erica too. Somebody, I think Marianne sent me did Erica Badu and Jill Scott have something on Instagram?
Yeah. Can we get? I call you back by Erica, please. Oh wait, the clean version.
Well, y'all better be careful out here.
Oh, you said the clean. I don't know if
The
I
clean
get
version.
Let me see if I can get clean.
Why it gotta be the clean version? We all adults.
I mean, I was trying to be appropriate, but I mean, if you want,
This song offends anybody, it's Nicole's fault.
I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. In advance.
Like, this song was brought to you by Nicole Middleton.
It relates to work, so you know, I think it applies.
And what kind of work?
Work, like I'm busy. I'm in my business.
Mm-hmm. I ain't heard this one in a while, actually.
Flipping the switches and bitches come witness the joy and the feelings, and I call you back. Never the life of the party, but I get it started. It's business and I call you back. It's business and business. Business and business and I call you back. It's business, it's business. It's business, it's business and I call you back. It's business and business. It's business, it's business, and I call you back. It's business, it's business. It's business, it's business, and I call you back. And I call you back.
You fast. Do this song. Okay.
That's my jam right here.
Is this good?
It's kind of.
Password.
We're friends. I'm in a situation. I'm in a relationship.
Oh, I need to close that scanner. I need to close that scanner.
Erica be doing it. All right, 7:38. Let me stop sharing. Who up? Who wants to let us see what they were able to come up with?
Okay, you can critique mine.
All right, come on in. Let's see what you got.
Okay, this is what I came up with. Let me know. So, but anyways, so it starts there with that string path at the top here, and then this is the rest of it. Is that good? And then if I run it, this is what I get.
Is that what you got on your text file?
Yeah.
Then that's good. Looks good to me.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful job. Does anyone not get that, or did anyone not get it to work correctly?
I forgot what the syntax was because I was having trouble with the scanner and I forgot how to close it because I didn't comment out everything else.
You want to share? Did you get it fixed or no?
Yeah, of course. I forgot what the syntax was for closing the scanner.
So what was the issue that you were getting while you needed to close the scanner?
How about this? Let's just run it and see what we got.
You might just need the open and close parentheses for the scanner. For closing the scanner.
Well, what was it called? What is your scanner called?
Next scan.
No, the one up there.
Oh yeah.
Close.
Scan.
So yeah, go back. Well, here I want to see what happens without that. Like, get rid of line 36.
Okay.
All right, now let's delete that. All right, so now let's see what were you talking about?
Oh well, I know I got to put in. Okay, that was line 52. Okay, let me do that again.
Now what am I supposed?
Oh, still ran. Okay, didn't have to do it.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to close it. You're gonna have to close it when you try to write to it. But that's what Lisa
Okay.
talking about. Yeah, so now it's just reading from both, right? Just two separately at two different times.
Right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody else? We all good? We feeling good about reading from the text file?
I'm not. I definitely got some errors somewhere, and I think it's one working.
Okay, go ahead and share. Let's see real quick.
Yeah, let's take a look. That's what we're here for.
Got our meal refunded. Okay. So,
Really? So
okay. So here's the second one.
Looks like you got too many curly braces at the end down there to start.
Yeah, but before that, here shouldn't this be so I have to reinitialize the scanner, right?
No, you created a new one. You should be good. Oh, you got to give it a different name. The one that you created at 41.
But I can reuse this one, right?
yeah, you should be able to reuse that.
You got to take away the actual, yeah.
That away, and then
Nah, you can't use it because it lives inside the scope of that one.
Yeah.
So no, you can't. You got to create a new one. It's a scope issue. So yeah, create that one again.
oh, me. Sorry, that was my login just being.
And then you got to call that one a different name, and then name everything else that's using that.
Seems wasteful.
Well, I mean, she can still, if she pulls that top scanner outside that try block and initialize it up there or declare it up there, then she can use it.
But you can't because you gotta it requires you to have that catch, the try catch for the
Right, but
file, just in case the file not found.
You could just do a scanner scan and then initialize it inside.
So do.
No, don't do it right now.
Oh, so
no. We just talking. We just talking.
We just talking.
Sorry.
So you got errors or what's up? I can't really. Your screen's so small. I can't really see that.
Is it? I'm sorry.
Let's see.
All
right, so it's mad at the scanner now. You got scan 2. Student file 2. Scanner, new scanner. Hover over that where it says scanner, where you getting the error. Because I feel like that should be fine.
Catch close.
Well, maybe it's not recognizing that catch as part of that block. Hit Control Alt L.
Oh, you missing a curly brace.
I'm missing one, or I have to?
Yeah, you got the while inside the curly braces, but you don't close your try.
Hold on. Oh, I see it. Wait.
Now that need to be down there by that catch, the close.
After line 44. Like click on line 44 and then press enter and then put another closing block.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, right there. Boom. Right.
Now do Control Alt L. Yeah, there it is. Wait, is that one an extra one? Maybe try to run it now.
I see all good on red.
All right, try to run it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, you probably got the wrong file path. Actually, oh, there it is.
Groceries. Path 2. Oh, well, this. Wait, oh, okay. Path 2. Yeah.
There you go.
There, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yay.
Sweet. All right, now we're going to go ahead and hop into writing to a text file, and Lee's going to lead us in that. All right, Lee.
All righty. Well, let me find out which screen I'm going to use here. I guess
How
I'll
you
go
create
here.
that backdrop?
You said what?
How did you create that backdrop?
If you go to like where you have the stop video button, and it's an arrow right there next to it, and it has an option to choose virtual background.
Oh, stop video button and choose virtual background. Okay, thank you.
Let's see, we got Money Lamont over there. So he figured it out.
You can't see me now though for some reason with this one.
So we can't see you.
Yeah, it works better on my phone. It works better on my phone when I do this.
All right, so let me share my screen. Screen 1. All right. So far, we talked about how to read from a text file. So now we want to teach how we write, and we'll write over a text file for now. So first, let me see. So everyone sees my screen here.
Yes.
All righty. And give me one moment. Is it too small? I can enlarge that a bit.
Yeah, you can enlarge it.
Cool. Alrighty. Where is it up? Where's the font size? Anybody remember the font? Oh, here is it this one or was it a different one?
I think it's editor.
Yep, you're right. So let's try 18. Let's
I think
try
that's perfect.
22.
Oh, that's...
All right, there we go. All right, so far we have our text file, and we were able to read from our text file using our scanner. So now we're going to use our same scanner, or we're going to use the scanner again to write or overwrite some information in our text file. So this time we're going to introduce a new library and a new class. So we're going to use the file writer to actually allow us to write to a file. So right now, like I'm just showing off my student text.txt file. So I got Lee, Henry, Velma, Scooby, and Shaggy in there. So we're gonna overwrite that information. Alrighty. So the first thing we're gonna do is instantiate us a file writer. You wanna make that one word. And I'll just name it file writer for now. And set it equal, no, just like we instantiate anything else, we just call it file writer. And so it takes one parameter, and that parameter will be like the path of the file that you want to write over. Oh, so for us right now, I named mine path. So up here, this is where I have in the path. That's what I named my the path to my file. All right, so here we get we get a red squiggly here, and it tells us that they want us to put this in a try catch block as well, just in case that path is empty. So similar to the scanner, like they want to protect us from getting an exception on the front side of it. So we're gonna encapsulate this in a try catch block, or enclose this in a try catch block. And I'm just gonna do exception E. And then I sometimes do the print stack trace. I mean, if you want to do your own custom message, you could do that as well. However you would like to catch that exception. But not, so now we see that we're able to create a new file writer, and now we have the ability to write to our path. All right, so writing over a file, it's for the most part 2 steps for the most part. We can simply use the write or append methods to write over them, and we'll have to use a flush method to actually perform its work. So the 2 steps is for the first one, you do the write, which actually takes the information, so the string or the sequence of characters that you put in, and it stores it. And then when you do the flush method, that's what actually performs the writing of it to the document. So now I'll demonstrate that, and we'll see what happens when we don't put the flush in there and what happens when we do. All right, so say I want to, I'm going to rewrite our path, and this is for the student's text. I'm going to rewrite it so it just has, I just have Henry's name on it this time. So we'll call our file writer, and then we'll do a dot write. And then it'll take that string directly. And then, yeah, I'll just leave it there for now. All right. So just to kind of backtrack, let me. Okay. And I just did this to separate the code that we just wrote versus the stuff we wrote before. Or I guess I could name it. Okay, so just to review, first, we created us a new file writer, which allows us to write over a file. And then here, we're actually telling it what we want to write to that file. And then we enclose it in a try catch just in case we have an exception, particularly around the path being incorrect. All right, so we're going to run this code. And again, let's take a look at our student text, because this is the one that is going to alter when we run this code.
I have a question. Mine's is turning red for some reason.
Let's see
That
it.
STR, or should I not put that in there?
Let's see it.
Okay. Okay. I think I caught it, but I'll show it. I think I caught the error. Okay, so yours shows that STR there.
Yep, and that's fine. Like, that's just one of the little helpers
Right.
that it give you to let you know what parameter you're filling out.
Right. I thought I was supposed to actually type that, but I figured
Oh,
it
no.
out.
Yep. All good. All right. So recall that I said that it is another step in there, and that we have to flush it. So right now, we'll see what happens when we forget to flush the document. So I'm running this code, and this is the previous where it's printing out everything up there. And now, we see that it finished. When we go over to our student text file, it is completely empty with a capital E. Tragic. All right, so we'll fix that. So that's why it's super important, and that's why I do that, just so you can see how important it is that we do a file writer.flush, or whatever your file writer name is. But we do a flush. And again, what that flush does is it actually writes everything that you have, that you asked it to write. It actually sends it to that document. It pretty much flushes it out of the file writer and onto the document. Oh, that's okay. Need an R right there. I was thinking, oh, shoot. All right, so now let's go back to our documents. I'm gonna throw, matter of fact, I'll just do a copy paste. I'm gonna do a short, quick in a hurry, quick fix. Now make sure you save it, like when you're testing this. So when the code runs, it will save it automatically. But like if you're changing some of the values manually, make sure you save it in between. And it always helps to double check it. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that file and then pull it back up. All right, sweet. So it got all my values back in it. And now I am gonna run this code once again. And now this time it should, by the end of it, have the word or name Henry. All right, so it ran through, process finished. Now we get one of our favorite Java teachers, Henry, at the top of the list, or the only thing on the list, actually. All right, sweet. That's beautiful, right?
Right.
I'm having an issue. I see the name was added to my student's file, but I don't see it when I initially run my code.
Here, let's see what you're talking about. Let me stop my share. Like Henry, I'm visual, man. I don't know what y'all be talking about, man.
So which one? First one. So it is this one.
All right. So path one is the student file.
Yep.
I'm guessing.
Well, path.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you flushed it. Okay. Did you run it?
Yep. So it's running right. Well, these were the results once I ran it.
Okay, so go over to your student text file and see. See there?
There. But I thought you added the name. Well, the name is supposed to show up here too.
Did you tell it to show up there?
No.
Don't look like it.
No. So then I just need to.
Now, if you wanted to print, like when you, if you wanted to print after it's done, what you can do is copy paste your code that reads the file and prints the file under your write, under the code that we're writing to it. So I think it'll be like line 30 or 17 through 30. Nope, the one above, if you copy and paste it and put it below that piece. So it'll be line
so it'll
17
write
through. Yeah, because right now all it, it's doing exactly what it told, what you told it to do.
It's writing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. I need the catch too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now you could leave it up there as well. Like if you want to see the sequence of, you want to see the names before you change them and then after, like you can do that as well. But that all depends on like what you want to happen. But you got the principle down. Like we're at the moment, we're overwriting that file and adding some names to it. All right.
I checked mine. I was trying to type when you were talking, so I just want to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. I type what you type. Is that what?
Okay, so we got file writer, new file writer path, Joe, custom. All right, so let's take a look at which is your path set to? Is that your student's file?
Yeah.
So click into your student's file and we should see Joe in there. Oh, did you run your code yet?
Oh, no, I didn't run it yet. Okay, so run it. Okay.
Yep, so if you run it, you should see Joe on your student's file.
Okay, so go back to students. I don't see it.
Ooh, something done happened. Here, go to your grocery file. Let's see if it's on the grocery file.
Oh.
So the path is set to your groceries.
How did that happen? I guess based upon this setup, how did that happen?
Here, just scroll up and see what that path variable is set to. Yep. See on line 28.
Okay.
We got the path is set to that grocery.
So that needs to change. So
if you want to update the student file, you'll have to change that one. Yep.
Okay, so then I have to bring the student file, which is this one.
Mm-hmm. And then one thing we could do for the sake of this practice, maybe we can name the one file student path and then the other grocery path and just have separate variable names there. And I guess I wasn't a good example on that one.
Which one you talking about? The one above it?
You know how we have right the path. Yeah, I was just saying to refactor our paths. So it's student path and grocery path. so we're not getting them mixed up. So we know exactly which path we're talking about when we write the variable path.
Okay, so how do I do each? Okay, but how do I do that for this example when you say refactor? Do I just, I mean, do I get rid of this or comment it out or?
Nope. So were we declaring initialize the path string variable? So on line 30. Yep. So like if we had it as string students path.
Okay, string. Student. So student, okay. String student path like that? Wait a
Nope,
minute.
one word. Yep.
PATA, okay.
Camel case as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. And then set that equal to your file path that you have there.
This one right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this.
Okay, so now we definitely know which path we're referring to when we put our path in our file writer.
Okay. So now I'll run it.
Oh, you might want to be careful with that space at the end of that. Was that fine? I guess it worked for you last time, right?
A space, what after this right here?
This space
A
right
space
here.
where? Oh,
Got a
there.
space right up in there.
Yeah, no, you don't want that.
Okay.
Yeah, that might
I
throw
think I
you
have
off.
it up here too.
Yeah. All right. So I wonder if it does automatic remove white space.
Okay. So you want me to run this or run it again or?
Yeah, go ahead.
And click on student. I don't
Mm-hmm.
see, okay. Okay, removed it. Okay. Remove what? Okay.
Here, go
Right.
to your students.
Okay, here it is. Students right there. I think those are the same names I had in there before.
Yeah, I'm here. Minimize your console
Right here, this one? Oh, you talking about this?
right here.
Oh, this one?
Oh no, or now click in the students. Here
Okay.
should be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks. I think I got this.
All right. Sweet. Anybody else have any questions? All right, sweet. So now, let's see. I kind of want to give us a challenge real quick. We got, 20 minutes left of class? Yeah, let's do this challenge. Okay, so right now, the file writer allows us to overwrite a file. And like it'll wipe out everything that's currently on the file. Oh shoot, I gotta go over one thing before we do this. All right, so I want us to think about how can we just kind of add to the file that we already have. Like we know different logic and loops and stuff and ways that we can potentially take the information that's already in the file and then append something onto it or add something onto it. So I just want us to try to think, with each other, kind of think our way through being able to read a file and then add some information to that file with the information that we have currently.
Concatenation?
So any thoughts on how we get started? So concatenation, that'll be part of it probably. We can use some concatenation on that. All right, so how we'll do this.
Array?
I am going to have you all talk me through it. And I am typing and y'all are talking me through it. So I heard someone say concatenation and an array. How can we use concatenation or an array to help us achieve this?
So we would have to initialize the array if we do that.
Okay, so we can do that. Do we want okay. Okay, so array, what do we want to name our array?
Array equals new array or new something, or can you put a box there? Oh.
Add to list.
What list?
Just name it add to list. So we'll know what it's there for.
At list like that?
No, I meant ADD list.
Oh.
So we'll know, so it's meaningful.
Okay.
Will we put array equals new something, or just the, okay.
So before we start building this array, what do we want this array to hold? What information do we want this array to hold for us?
The student names.
The ones that's in the file or the new ones that we want to write?
The new ones?
Should be the new ones.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so what do I do next? Or like what y'all got for me? What do I do next?
Brackets, you need some brackets? I think you need brackets. And then, oh, okay. Okay, the curly braces, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, brackets. Oh.
And then the names of the array should be in there.
The names of who?
The students?
The names that you want to add should be in there.
Okay. So give me some names.
Tamara.
Jen.
Jen?
Mm-hmm. And she said Tamara.
George. Scooby-Doo.
All right, I'm starting to get some squigglies.
Oh, you got to put, oh.
Uh-oh.
That should be enough. Oh, you need a comma. Oh, no,
It's
you got a comma.
It's a space. What?
Let me see what's going on.
You need a semicolon.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say something's wrong with our syntax here.
Is the data type not in there?
You know,
What's
don't
that?
we after
So shouldn't it say string array list?
how about after new? Don't we have to have a new name?
Or new
After
array. I'm sorry. New array. Oh, we're doing array list.
Array list equals new array? Oh, string. Okay.
Well, it
String.
depends. Like what we want to do, how we want to do it. Because
Okay.
I heard Nicole say string.
Do we have to have a name after new?
Sometimes yes. So it depends on what type of list. So let's think about what type of list we want to make before we get too deep in this. So what type of list are we?
I feel like an array list will work because the size, we don't care about the size.
So the array list, remember, allows us to have a dynamic size. And then the other one we went over was a list that has a more, a less flexible size. And once you decide that size, you're stuck with that size.
Right.
So which one, do we have a preference on which one we want to use here? Because again, I'm just typing.
I feel like array list is fine.
Okay. Now I'll help us with the syntax for that array list because it has been a while since we've done an array list. But keep in mind, it's a lot of us here. So while we're struggling on it, we can be looking up the syntax for like some of the stuff as we're creating it.
For sure.
So I'll go ahead and let's see. With the array list, we should be able to throw some curly braces in there.
Wait a minute. She said new array list.
Do we need new array list, or can we just throw these in some curly braces?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Can we? Oh no, we might need our new keyword.
We gotta import the package too.
Yep, so I did that.
I did that, okay. I missed that part.
All right, it ain't liking my curlies. Yeah, we need our.
So the string. So yep. So we actually gotta. Those are going to be next. Those 3 items. So we need to do add array list dot each name because those are the 3 that we're adding.
And we had the wrong type of gen last time.
Yeah, not judging. Not judging.
So we had Jen, Tamara,
And George.
Okay. Sweet. So we have an array list of names. So what do we want to do with these names?
We wanna write them to the file.
Okay. So how will we do that?
We gotta have a try catch.
Mm-hmm. Try catch. Need a lowercase try.
And a for each statement would probably be nice.
Ooh, we getting fancy with the for each. Ooh. And I need to plug in my laptop or we'll all be starting over.
What? Nah.
All right, so we'll get our try catch. If I could spell, try catch. What do we want to catch?
We want to catch the array. What?
Would it be that student file?
No, we want to catch the file. I'm sorry, the file.
Remember when we do our try catch, we always put something in that first parentheses. And we always want to catch the exception before they're thrown
the exception.
at
Okay.
our user. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so exception E?
Exception. Yep. Catch exception E. All right. So now we kind of cooking.
Curly braces.
Y'all. Okay, so we got our curly braces. So now what we want to do?
So will we put the student file there? And when we're gonna copy those names to?
Yeah, so remember what type of object do we need to create?
File object.
Yep, our file writer. Yep,
File
so
writer
now we need to
object.
create our file writer. Yep. Okay, what do we want to name it? Did I spell that right?
What do we, let me see.
I don't know.
New array list?
Student list.
I like student list, yeah. I like new student list. All right. So then what we do, how do we create this file writer? Remember, it's like how we create any of our other objects, how we create a scanner, how we create.
File writer.
Yep. A new file writer. And what goes inside of our parentheses here?
Is it the path for the student?
So remember, mine is still named path. And we can see that up here. It goes to my student text. All right. So what now? We got our new file writer.
Hold on,
we have a list. Now, what method do we call to actually write to our new file or to our file, our current file?
File writer dot write.
File writer. So yep, so we use the name of the file writer we created. So new student list dot write. And then what do we want to write? Like what parameter do we want to throw into this write method? And this might.
Would that be the student names?
Names?
Mm-hmm. Now, I do recall somebody saying something about using a for each loop. Now, I feel like, and this is, I know I'm not doing just a typing now, and I'm kind of leading y'all, which I didn't want to do. But somebody did mention that for each loop, and I'd argue that maybe around this time is, right around the time we want to consider using that. Now, who was that who said something about the for each loop? Somebody want to kind of shed some light on what they were thinking?
That was John.
You want to shed some light on what you were thinking?
So instead of having to say add list, or instead of having to say array list, bracket 1, bracket array list, bracket 0, or bracket 0, bracket 1, bracket 2, bracket, and so on. You could just put the whole thing in a for each loop, saying something along the lines of for paren string. I don't know, what do we want to call it? Or student colon. What did we actually name the array?
Add list.
Colon add list. N paren, open curly bracket, and then the new student list dot write, and inside the parens where you'd normally put just the other variable, you'd put student.
Okay. Everybody peep what he did there? Do you remember that for each loop, that enhanced for loop that we did a while back, a little while back? It wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, all you're saying is for string, and then you give it a variable name. In this array, so for every string in this array, do the following things as many times as there exist array entries in the array.
Beautifully explained. All right, so now when we run this code, what is going to happen? Are we missing anything? Are we good to go?
You gotta put something for that catch.
Oh yeah, we got to put something for the catch. What do we want to catch? Or what do we want to put in for the catch?
Let's see. System.out, print line. Is that it? I don't know. I don't know what to put there. Is it custom or I don't know. I don't know what to put there.
Whatever error message we want to send out. So what we could do is we can print the exception.
Like
Okay.
an empty array or something?
What's that?
I said, would it be like an empty array would throw the exception?
So if we just do the print E, or if we did a E dot print stack trace, like that will allow that to print that actual exception for us. I mean, I don't know if you do an empty array, if that will print the exception. I mean, I'm not familiar with that method. Could be a thing though. All right, so you say you think so?
Don't it have to be something that encompasses the students?
Which thing? What are we talking?
Print out, print line. Or is that it? Is that what you're asking? Is there something else needed to how do I want to say that? Is there an additional information to add to print line so it's still encapsulate each student that is supposed to print? I'm guessing.
So like we go through each student in this for loop here.
Right.
Now this exception is mostly for us creating this new file writer with this path. Like one of the most common exceptions that people will see is if this path is empty or if there's something wrong with the path that we feed into it. So that's one of the more common errors that we'll see. And that's mostly what we want to put our exception here for. So here we just had it print the exception that we got. Okay, so can someone take a gander on what this code would do if we ran it now?
It's going to add those new students to the student list.
Right.
Okay. Everybody in agreement on that?
I agree.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put my teacher hat back on. Remember we said it's the 2 steps. We gotta flush that bad boy.
Oh.
Now I thought I'd give you all the pleasure of running this code and seeing that empty file. Then I thought again, it's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and give them a hint. So yeah, we gotta make sure we flush after. And this is gonna actually like write it and save the file or save the information onto the file. And in fact, I kind of want to debug it to see if it just, prior to the flush, if it just writes it to the file and then it loses the information, or if it just never writes it to the file. I'm curious. But since class is almost over, I'll save that and do that one on my own time. All right, I'll do it after class. All right, so where do we want to do our flush? Do we want to do it inside our for loop, outside our for loop? Any takers?
How about inside? So as we add the new names, we're flushing the old stuff out, or?
Right.
I don't know if he trying to talk to us, but he talking, and I saw a no when he.
No, I think you just want to put it. You want to have it outside the for loop, but you want to keep it inside the try. That's
okay,
what I.
Now, why would you want to do that? What's the benefit?
Because at the end of it, you have the for just to add to the list, but once you've done that, then that's when you actually want to flush. That's what my thinking is.
Yep, and this is correct. Like both ways will work, and it's important to know that both ways will work. But remember, when you're dealing with the for loop, like especially if you have larger or bigger amounts of information or larger string or lists, you want to think about your code efficiency. Now, if you do a flush every time you add something, you just got your code working too hard. And you definitely are, I'm always thinking about the code efficiency and try to maintain as efficient code as we can. Oh, we want to use our new file writer or new student list. Oh, I should have asked you all that. I didn't mean to give that nugget away. All right, so now we have this and we're going to run it and see what happens. Okay, so it printed the old list and now we have the new list with Jen, Tamara, and George, all printed on a single line. So sweet, good job, y'all. Like, it's a step.
So, Mr. Lee, what if you didn't want to flush and you just want to add those people to what's already to the current file? Would you just leave out the flush?
So remember, the flush is actually saving that information to that document.
Okay.
So that's not. So once we do this right, like that is what's clearing out the information. So we're writing to that file and we're losing everything that's in that file. Now, actually, this challenge was initially supposed to be like taking that information that was previously in the file, storing that in an array in a similar manner to this, and then adding to that. And that'll be the way that you'll add to the document in this case. You'll take what's already there, you'll store that, and then you'll reprint it to that document or rewrite it to that document. Does that make sense?
So there's no way to do an append to the document then. You can't just say, write this at the end of the file.
Not using the file writer. So there's many different tools to write to documents. Like there's many different file IO tools, but for the file writer, and I think the scanner does writing as well, and it may have a method for appending, but you'd have to kind of dig in there and see. But I don't know offhand. But for the file writer, and I think a lot of the other ones that I've used, a lot of them empty out that file and write it fresh.
Yeah,
H, you have any tips on any?
Because that could get really painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at this while you guys were going through the append. So there is an append method on the file, but it doesn't actually append. It still overwrites. And so when I looked it up,
yeah, that's what I was playing with.
Yeah, when I looked it up, there's a 3-step process. So there's a buffer writer, there's a print writer, and then there's a file writer, and you have to manipulate it so that the buffer writer takes in the file writer, and then the print writer is what actually appends it. There's probably an easier way to do it, but the way I was like, well, if it takes all these steps, it's probably easier just to throw all of that into an array like you guys were doing and just append, rewrite the whole file with the collection.
Well, I'm just thinking if you end up with a 100 meg file or something crazy like that, you kind of want to avoid tossing that whole into an array.
Yeah. And honestly, the manner that we're using these files is just to store a temporary store of or I guess it's a more long-term store. But we're just using this to store information in a place that's not in our code. And we use this kind of as a preliminary step of writing to a database.
That's what I kind of figured. We're doing it before we're doing database interaction.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't anticipate having giant files that we're writing stuff to, because if you have a really large file, then you'll want to use a different.
Well, I'm thinking about parsing logs or something like that, where if you wanted to parse some logs and put a line in where you got a break or something in the log or something like that. I was thinking something like that, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's yeah, if you're gonna store a lot of information somewhere, then it's probably best to have that information in a database. Going off what Lee was saying, and then if you're reading from something that has a lot of information, then usually it is a database, or you're using an API that has a bunch of data stored in either JSON or XML, and in that case, you'll probably use the stream.
Yeah.
That Lee is really excited about.
Oh, yeah, I love stream.
I have a question. Okay, I got lost somewhere, so because I'm getting like red when I try to do it. So your line 44, where it says student, where is that student coming from?
John, you want to help him out while I chew? John?
Student is coming from, sorry. The student didn't come from anywhere. We created it right there in the for loop. That is where the student is created. See the for string student add list.
Oh, okay.
And then all right, student. Yeah, we got it. We created it right there in the for loop.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and how this reads is for each student in our add list, then it's going to do whatever you call it to do. So in our code, we're writing that student to the new student list.
I have a suggestion. Can you drop this code into the Slack channel?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You just want the
Everything.
And the video.
Everything.
Everything.
I like to have examples.
Okay, I'll drop all that in. Before I drop it in, I do want to, or actually, like, I know class is over, so let's wrap class up, and then if people want to stick around for these little extra things I want to do, because I want to drop these on new lines. I don't want this to be on the same line. And I guess, yeah, H, you got anything for wrap up?
I don't. So this is our second from last class. Next class, we are going through a put it all together session, trying to bring in everything that we've gotten together. So that's what's happening next week. And then Lee and I need to talk about what's happening after next week. We haven't talked about that yet, but no, that's all I got, Lee. I have nothing else.
That's no fun, man.
I know, I'm sorry. You caught me off guard.
I have a question before we wrap for today, and that is in the midst of us going to the final class next week, will you two instructors have an opportunity to discuss what the schedule looks like moving forward? Because, you know, with the second class, you kind of kept it going. And with the OGs, there was a break in the action that we had not necessarily planned for. So I know for me, it works a little bit better if we're able to continue. Yet I also recognize that you guys have lives and that you have to take time to prepare. And so in the midst of whether or not you indeed have a timetable, that you could at least give us some direction as students, that if we're not going to just pick it up, what we should be doing just to stay sharp until you go into the next phase. Is that too much of a mouthful, or does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. That's cool.
Okay, all right.
So we do have next steps for Java 3. And what we're thinking with that one is, like, at this point we've gone over like all the like basic things that you need to make like actual console applications that have some flow. Now we do want to teach some of the object-oriented principles and some of the benefits of object-oriented programming, and just kind of delve more into some concepts of code organization. And we're going to do that through having you all build out some applications, and meanwhile teaching you more principles rather than teaching you like the foundation of like coding or coding tactics, I guess. So I will say that it will like go heavily towards people like actually, you know, having more, I guess it's less of us telling you all, showing you all how to do it, exactly how to do things, and more of us saying, hey, build an app like this, and then we'll talk about the structure of the app and how it's supposed to flow, and just ways that you can improve the efficiency of the app. So yeah, we do have plans for the next phase, and it'll be very hands-on for you guys, because so far it's been very hands-on for us. Like, we're kind of walking you through examples, but now we feel like you have all the tools you need to actually write out some apps. But we need for you all to get more practice and to just do it more often, and then start to understand some of the, I guess, core coding concepts of, you know, around having good, clean, and structured code.
Cool, thanks.
Emma, you got anything to add to that, or?
No, I think you covered it. We got to figure out what that looks like, what that schedule looks like. So when we meet this week, Lee and I, then we'll talk about it and figure out, and then we'll have that information for you all, you know, next week in class, so that you all are aware of what the plan is afterwards. So yeah, but we'll still, I mean, either way, we still plan on having the deep dives. That still is going to be a thing. The scheduling might change a little bit. We're thinking about figuring out, like, if we want to do the days that we're teaching consecutively. So we may move from Thursday to Wednesday. That's still all in the air. If you have a preference from Thursday or Wednesday, please send it to us. Let us know. But for us, it may work better if we could go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday is just us living life, since it's about to be summer and everybody's about to be outside. Hopefully.
We'll see.
Yeah, go for it. Oh, you said we'll see. But yeah, no, that's it. I mean, we want to keep it going. We're going to keep the momentum going. We just got to figure out what our timetable is.
When's the barbecue at your place?
I mean, when things open up, then, you know, I'll let you know. But
get the grill going.
Until things open up, there will be no barbecues over here. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know for sure. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Comment. I sent you a message. Do you have time? Do you have, like, I don't know, 10 minutes to review the changes I did in the homework?
Yeah, I can check it out right after this. I'll send you a response. Anybody else?
Okay.
I did drop a so if you look in the in the Slack, I did drop exercises that are from W3 schools. There's some really cool exercises in there, and if you want to just like test, and it's broken down into different sections. Here, let me share my screen real quick. Lee, let me share my screen real quick so I can show this, and then I'm bouncing.
All right, I guess. Where's my stop? Okay, there we go.
All right, I'm gonna show you guys this, and then I'll leave you to it. Where's my Slack? Where did I share that? Here we go. So yeah, this right here, if you click this, so it gives, I mean, there's tons of exercises here. So it starts out with very basic stuff, like printing to the console, and it breaks it down into like different categories. And there's also solutions that you can see, so you can test yourself against the solution. So there's tons of resources like right here if you want to just like test your understanding of the different things that we've covered so far. So yeah, I challenge you all to start doing some of these, and if you solve it a different way, start dropping your code in the code snippet, or challenge other people to solve the one that you solved. Let's build that community up. But that's all I got, Lee. That's all I got.
You Google that? That was through Slack?
Yeah, I dropped it in Slack. It's in Slack in the under the Java code snippets.
Oh, okay. Okay. Never seen it look like that, but okay. Okay, thank you guys.
Yes, yes.
See y'all next week.
All right.
Everybody take care. Stay
Next
safe.
week, I think Lee's sticking on.
Stay safe.
All righty. All right, y'all. Y'all see I added this